me go back to thinking why I became a teacher in the first place. I wanted to help students find their voice, particularly students who sometimes didn't have a chance to speak their voice, so their experiences weren't valued, or they weren't somebody that we saw a lot of in media. So by going back to culturally relevant texts, by creating activities that include a variety of cultures and a variety of responses, it seems like it's giving them a chance to tell their story, to hear other people's stories they might not have before, and to kind of do it in an authentic way that means something to them. If you've got thoughts that you didn't get a chance to write down yet, don't worry, you'll have a chance to share them later. Here's what we're going to do, guys. If your eyes are up on the smartboard, please. We already did number 1. Each student will write quick, right responses. You're going to share those in a minute. Here's what we're doing. In a couple days, you guys are going to start working on your own sitcoms. And the ideas for the problems that the characters are going to deal with, they're going to come from real life. So I'm hoping what you're going to be seeing in a minute, that a lot of the problems that people came up with, Bridget gave me a word. She said, can I make it universal? Yeah. Because I will bet you that a lot of the problems that you see that people came up with, maybe you've been through them, other characters in books have been through them, maybe the characters in the story that you're going to come up with will go through them. So I can find themes in real life problems, and I can analyze themes in the text. That's what we're doing right now. What I'm going to have you do in a moment is you're going to stand up, and you're going to find a group of 3 people. We've got everybody here today, so we should be able to find 8 groups of 3. 3 times 8 is still 24, right? Okay, so groups of 3. What you're going to do is quick share ideas with each other. Okay? When you get into your group of 3, first thing you gotta do is figure out who's gonna be the recorder, who's gonna write everybody's ideas down. We'll make it easy. The person whose name is closest to A will be the one to start. So, Chet and Charlie, I have a feeling that you guys might be doing some writing.
No. What about Aaron?
And also Aaron. Alright, I say peace. You say quiet. Peace. Peace. Okay. So when I say go, you're going to stand up, find a group of 3, no more than 3. So you're going to have to move around a little bit. After a couple minutes, after you've had a chance to share, I'm going to say go 6. That means a group of 3 is going to have to link up with another group of 3. So after I say go 6, I should have 4 groups of 6. Thank you, I didn't think about that. Questions, comments, concerns before we start? Okay, so we'll start off with 3. In a couple minutes, I'll call go 6. And then, I'm going to call on groups to share what they got.
Okay.
All right, go 3.
It's okay to not want to hang out with the bad friends or bad things. Trust your parents, and even if somebody is labeled as a particular kid, it doesn't mean they can't be oh, I'm a bad guy. Oh, cool kid now. Yeah, and then you go.
All right, go 6. Each group of 3 is going to have to combine with another group of 3.
Or not. No, you right one.
About 1 more minute.
Always trust your instinct.
Some people have
Keep going. Are you just finding that we're coming up with some similar?
Here. You got this.
Ladies, are we finding it? Bring it! Bring it! Will you please, quickly, quietly, move back to your seats?
I'm already here.
Whack-a-mole style. I'm just going to pick at random, and your job is to tell me one of the lessons that either you came up with or that you heard someone else say. First whack-a-mole, Luke.
That people, having good that people can change.
Okay, cool. Serena.
I came up with that, sometimes when you guys need to pray and talk to someone for something to work out.
Nice. No one's there? Tony.
I called it.
Even though Justin's in your seat. So.
Trust people who learn from your mistakes.
Okay. Right there, we've got a sitcom. We just found 3 real-life problems that got turned into a story. When the writers of that episode came together, one of the things they probably talked about, other than what's going to happen, is what do we want to teach? What do we want to show? What do we want the message to be? You start with that, and then you build everything else. This is what you guys are going to do for your sitcoms. Did you notice that people had a lot of similar ideas? Okay? Grunt at me if somebody in your group said something like, don't always do what everybody else does. It's a lot of grunts. Some grunt at me if somebody had an idea about know who your real friends are. Okay? A lot of grunts, right? These are pretty common themes. Now how your sitcom will present them, that's going to be up to you. So here's what we're going to do next, guys. I'm going to have you start to come up with a list of possibilities. So to do this, you're going to be in your wind groups. So the groups that you are doing your readers theater with. North wind, you'll be over by the pencil sharpener. South wind, you'll be by my big desk. East wind, you're by Batman. And west wind, you're back by Doctor Who. In a minute, I'll have you go there. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do when you get there. You're going to do a brainstorm, but this is going to be a round robin brainstorm. So imagine that there are 6 people in front of me in a circle. The recorder will start off first. And they're going to tell us a real life experience that could appear in a sitcom, that could appear in a half-hour episode of a funny show. Turn into real life lessons. I'm going to give you about a minute to think. So don't move yet. Give you about a minute to think. That way when you get to your group, you've got ideas to share. Once you're in your groups, I'm going to give you a number, 1 through 4, each person. Maybe write that in your notebook. I'll explain what that's for in just a second. Okay, so take a moment, real life problems that you can turn into real life lessons. Take a moment of silence. Just think. Moment of silence. Real life problems that you could turn into real life lessons. If you can make them up, that's fine. Okay, will you please move into your win groups? And once again, the recorder will be the person whose name's closest to A. Oh no, so
Aaron, you have to record.
your notebooks to your notebook. Guys, pause you for a second. Give your 1.
Wait, no.
3. Leah, 4. Mars, 2. Serena, 3. Luke, you are 4. Aaron, 1.
So clear.
Say peace. You say quiet. Peace. Peace. Can you put your eyes up on the smartboard? I'm throwing a new wrinkle at you guys. Yes. We're going to try sharing some ideas with groups in a different way. Here's what we're going to do. I'm calling this Stray. There's a reason you guys all got those numbers. In a moment, you're going to restart your brainstorm. Keep going. Remember, person to person in a circle. Hold the comments until the end. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say something, you're going to say something back. That'll be a cue for some people to get up, go to another group, and steal their ideas. Good writers steal ideas. Steal everything and use it. For example, I might start off with 3s. I would say, 3s always say, you guys would respond back with, it's time to stray. Can we try that real quick?
Okay.
3s always say,
It's time to stray.
that is now a signal for everybody who is the number 3 to get up, go to a different pod, and you're going to write down some of their ideas to bring them back to your group. You are going to steal their ideas and come back. After a minute or two, I'm going to say, "Freeze, don't you roam?" And you will respond back with, "Go on home." That is the cue for those people to go back to their group and share what they have pilfered. Ooh, that's a fancy word for steal. Okay? All right, so listen for the number. You'll respond back with, "It's time to stray." That number of people will go and find a new pod. You may continue. Twos always say. All right, twos. That is your cue to go find a different pod. Steal their ideas. Steal them. Steal them.
A group of friends had to see.
We have no
Oh my God! Then you guys talk. What was the other one?
Trying to. You may need to look over somebody else's shoulder, Joe. Because right now, don't be looking at me. There you go.
Keep it safe. It's time to go.
Alright, twos, you may return to your pod. So one more minute. About one more minute. You say back, bring it. Quickly, quietly. Will you move back to your seat? You should be seated and ready to listen in 5, 4. Here's what you're going to do while I'm gone. Here's your instructions. You're going to partner up with one other person. We've got an even number of people, so everybody should be able to do this with one other person. You're going to think about 3, count them, 3 of the real life problems that you and your group came up with, and you're going to use our theme equation to turn these into themes. Remember, here's how this works. You've already got the problem. You've identified a problem that a character is going to need to solve or deal with. You've already done that by coming up with a list of real life problems. Now you just got to pick 3. You and your partner will pick 3. You're going to have to ask yourself, what have the characters learned, or what will someone need to learn to deal with this problem? Okay, so either way, what has someone learned, or what will they learn? Since these are real life problems that we've made up, it's probably mostly going to be what will they have to learn to deal with it. Once you've got that, you're going to do what Bridget asked me if she could do and say, can I make this universal? Can I make this about everybody? Okay, so you guys have done this before with stories. Only difference now is you're doing it with real life problems. So when I say go, you're going to find one other person to do this with. I would say that you each jot these in your notebook. Okay? So I'm hoping that each person will come up with 3 possible themes. The movement worked really well. It's an active group of kids, and they do better when they move to share ideas. If they sit still, sometimes they get stuck, or they get into, keeps them on their toes, and it feels like it sort of greases the machine, so the ideas keep flowing. The students have the freedom to do what they need to do, but because they've been coached, and because hopefully the rules mean something to them, they're able to take on that control and still be in control.